Hello and welcome back to CEO.CA, where we're hosting interviews at PDAC 2025. I'm excited right now to be joined by Elmer Stuart, the CEO of Copper Fox Metals. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Pleasure to be here.
So to start off, can you give investors an overview of the portfolio of projects that you have at Copper Fox?
Yeah, we have a portfolio of 5 projects, 2 of which are classified at the advanced stage. And one of those is in BC, and it's a joint venture with Teck Resources. And the other one is in Arizona. And then we also have 3 exploration stage projects. One is which is at the resource stage, and that's located in British Columbia, called Eaglehead. And we have two what we call intermediate exploration stage projects. One we're trying to get a permit on to commence the drilling program if we can get the permit, and I think we'll get that. And then the other one, probably within 3 or 4 months, we should be able to transition the other one to the point where we'll file a plan of operation to conduct a drilling operation there as well. And those 2 projects are in Arizona.
Okay, so there's upcoming catalysts.
Oh yes.
Sounds like definitely
yes.
within months.
Yeah.
That's great news. Copper has been a hot commodity with investors, right? Especially retail investors for many reasons.
Right.
What's driving copper prices, do you think? What are the main things driving it? What's your sort of outlook for the short term and for the longer term?
For the outlook, the short term, I see the prices are going to probably gradually creep up to the high $4 mark, low $5 mark. But, you know, if you look at the forecast going out into the future, and I know some people, they just kick these forecasts down the road, and they do, but, you know, when you look at the population explosion, you look at the AI build-out, you look at the green revolution, the use of copper in clothing and fighting bacteria, I mean, and the demand for copper is only going to increase because we've been relying, and the world's been relying on very, very few copper producing centers, and they're getting old. The grade's declining, and it's been so difficult in the last few years to get a permit to put a new mine into production. It's just delaying that copper we should be bringing on now. We're bringing it on later, and the demand is just going to keep increasing. This morning, the CEO of BHP, he basically said by the year 2040, the demand for copper is going to increase by 70%.
Wow.
So you got 16 years, 70%. That's like a 4.5% increase, where historically the usual increase in copper demand is about 2.3, 2.4%. And the industry doesn't have the deposits, and we can't build them that fast. And so I just think down the road, demand's going to go up, prices are going to go up, and it's a great space to be in.
If we talk just for a minute a little bit about geopolitics and politics in Canada.
Sure.
We have a new U.S. administration.
Yes, we do.
We have probably a new Canadian administration coming in at some point this year.
Find out.
Maybe
Yep.
we have different things going on around the world. Is that going to accelerate the increase in copper prices, do you think? Or what are we looking at in terms of?
It's hard to say what it will have. I like what Mr. Trump has done. He's actually starting to focus on the U.S. security of critical metals internal to the country, and they have the resources to develop them. Canada has the same resources, and what I've been seeing in the last, say, 10 plus years now, it's been almost like it's been getting more and more and more difficult to permit projects, and for delays in one reason or another. And I'm not saying that it's an easy decision to make, but if we're going to have a critical mineral policy in Canada, and we're saying we need these metals, we need a policy that's anonymous. I'm not saying it streamlines, but it just you go through a process. Once you're permitted, you go. But the regulators have to focus on getting a review of the permit, telling the people what's wrong with it, or saying it's okay, you're good to go, and that's it.
Lastly, I just want to talk about one of your projects, the Van Dyke project, which is an in situ copper recovery project.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain to investors what this means and how it benefits Copper Fox?
Well, it benefits us because we did a preliminary economic assessment of that in 2021, and the after-tax valuation at $3.15 a pound copper, and the long-term metal prices now are $4 a pound. It came in at after-tax valuation discounted at 7.5%, $644 million US, and that's on an after-tax basis. So they're really good projects for near-term, medium-sized copper mines, They got great economics, but more importantly, they're more friendly because you don't move the rock. You try to push the solutions along the natural mineralized fractures that's already there and recover the mineral that way. And you take the solution back to surface and you create a closed circuit and just keep recirculating the solution. The key though is you got to demonstrate to the regulators that you can contain the fluid.
Okay.
And so, you can, that's done. I mean, look at Florence right now, they're hoping to be in production. That's the CECO mines are developing that, and they hope to be in production the second half of 2025, or at least that's what I'm hearing. And less low carbon intensity, less water usage. You don't move any rock. There's no dust. Very, very cut down on the noise. The damage to the surface is minimal. But what we're doing at Van Dyke, we're not going to do it from surface. We're going to put a ramp down underground and put everything underground, so the surface people on the surface won't see it. We're going to be below the known aquifers in the area, so we won't be impinging on the aquifers as opposed to drilling on through it.
Yep.
And so, yeah, we've been doing work on that, and since the PEA in 2021, we've been moving that project along, and everything we've done so far has demonstrated to us we've been able to mitigate the issues that came up, and we're hopefully get another study done here in a couple of months, and then we'll announce another program, what we're going to do to advance that project to the PFS stage.
That's fantastic. Well, there's so much for investors to be excited about going into even the first half of 2025. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. Pleasure.